welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around, but those dreams have remained and they've turned around. Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Back here where we need ya. Back here where we need ya. Yeah, the tease in my life, 'cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome.
Welcome back. All right, stretch. Okay, so didn't get as much as I done as I wanted to, but I'm getting there slowly but surely. So hopefully you're making some progress on whatever that you're working on. But for this break session, I want to take a look at this blog post that I came across. I think it was before, but I never got a chance to because everything broke. But I think it's pretty cool. It's not available like in all browsers. Like I won't be able to actually show it working in here because I don't have it on this version of Chrome. But I have like other versions of Chrome, like the dev version, Canary version, that I like to try test stuff out on. But I'm using the regular stable one here, so it's not out yet. It should be out. And well, let me just talk about it. Okay, I'm going to post a link to it in the so it'll be next to the list of links next to the recording of this video on the website untilit.works. And yeah. Oh, it just went direct. Why did it do that? That's fine. Okay, here we go. Share my screen. I'm going to share this one here. All right, so carousels with CSS. And for anybody that has done any sort of like web development, carousels can kind of be like a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Kind of take a lot of actual like work to get working. You know what I'm saying? A lot of effort to get it working. And so this is pretty cool. You can see from the video here, these are all different types of carousels. You know what I'm saying? And you can see it's a wide variety of things you can do with it. Like this is pretty cool, like the whole 3D thing. Okay, so shouts to Adam Argyle because there's some new cool stuff coming with CSS that will allow you to be able to do these things with CSS. I think you can do it without JavaScript as well. So that's pretty dope. All right, so this came out March 20th, 2025. So again, shout out to Adam Argyle. All right, so from Chrome 135, you can use features from the CSS Overflow 5 specification. Here's a link to that there. You can check that out. That have been designed to create scroll and carousel experiences. And so this post is an overview of many scroll and carousel experiences made from these new made using these new features and without JavaScript. Again, so all this without JavaScript. It's pretty dope. Watch the following video and get excited for what can now be achieved. So again, all this without like JavaScript. So that means you'll be able to create a lot of cool interfaces. Just they'll load quickly. You know what I mean? And but yeah, no, that's pretty dope. Look at that. It's like skipping multiple panels too. And then you see you could like use your touch and you just click the buttons as well. That's pretty dope. And then it's resizable as well. So that's cool. All right. And then it also has like little indicators here at the bottom as well that you can use. And then you can use the arrow keys as well. So yeah, so that's pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? All built into the browser. Now, shown in the video is a harmony of scroll buttons, scroll markers, scroll-driven animation, scroll state, queries, has, grid, anchor, and so much more. So I'm telling you, like CSS is more and more becoming a like programming language, which I'm here for. It's pretty dope. But this is really cool. Even more impressive is the accessibility story. So because a lot of time previously, with like JavaScript, sometimes a lot of carousels weren't that accessible. You know what I mean? And so with it being built into the browser, you can do more things. So he talks about it here. So carousel best practices are handled by the browser, thanks to the engineering and accessibility teams working together. It'd be very difficult to make a more accessible carousel than this. So you can see here, so we got the root is a carousel with grid template, and it is focusable. Cool. And you have like the URL of it. And then then you have the left and right scroll buttons. Cool. And they're focusable. And then you have like the list of the stuff that's in there. So that's pretty dope. All right. So here, scroll button and scroll marker. All right. So buttons are the, let's see if it pulls up here. Need to, let's see. So for instance, I think these are the scroll markers, right? They tell you where in the scroll you are. And then scroll buttons are just that. Why don't you let me, hold on, wait, what? Go to the, oh, this doesn't let me, hold on. I can't, oh, it doesn't let me scroll to the position of the thing. Okay, interesting. Well, let me, okay, no. Okay, come on. Okay, so does this have scroll button? Ah, this has scroll markers as well. Scroll buttons are the actual like buttons that you can click to scroll it. Oh wait, this does have it. It's just not showing. Yeah, okay, you can kind of see it here. There's scroll. Oh, why is that? If I make this larger, let's see if I. That doesn't really. But you can kind of see the scroll buttons here, right there. Yeah, right there. Every time I hover over it. But yeah, okay, cool. All right, let me go back. Cool. All right. So yeah. So those scroll marker, scroll button. So a carousel is a scroll area with up to 2 added UI affordances, buttons, and markers. All right. In version 1 of CSS carousel features, the buttons and markers are created from CSS, which is kind of interesting. So you're creating the UI from CSS, like just putting it in CSS, it makes it happen, which is kind of interesting. So you don't actually, so I don't think you actually have it in your HTML markup, I think. So the browser places elements as siblings with the proper roles in the proper tab order. So when you're tabbing through it, it will do it automatically and maintains their state. So if you have it like if you clicked it and it scrolled and you had maybe like a circle around it, it will keep it the circle around it. This makes developing an accessible carousel easier. Yes, because I said before, it was a lot of work to try and make it even just function. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of effort. And so scroll buttons. So browser provides stateful and interactive scroll affordance button elements that aid in content access and scrolls 85% of the scroll area when pressed. Okay. And then scroll markers. Browser provided stateful navigation A elements that aid in the content access of any requested item in the scroll area. So like I said, it's like the little, so if you were to click that circle, it goes to that part. And it looks like it does it for you, which is kind of cool. So now start with a scroller, right? So you can add buttons and markers to any scroll area on your site. So the following CSS creates a basic scroll area for use in later steps to add buttons and markers to. So scroll snapping is not required for a carousel. Scroll snapping is like when you go like a little bit over, like just a certain amount that you can actually set, it'll go to that scroll one. So it's kind of like you go a little bit like scroll assist. So you kind of go a little bit and it'll take the rest of it for you. It's kind of thing. But if you don't go that far, then it scrolls back to the thing. That's pretty dope. So on the x-axis, mandatory. All right. So yeah, so we have the overflow in the x direction auto, which is this thing here, right? And then yeah, you kind of see the scroll snapping, like how it kind of like completes the scroll, even though this like the actual action of scrolling has stopped, right? But yeah, carousels also work for vertical scrollers and bi-directional scrollers, so you can have it, X and Y at the same time and stuff, which you do here. All right, cool. Yeah, and then all this stuff. So you have the carousel and all the different line items inside of it. List items. Sorry, list items. Tired. So you have the scroll snap assign, so it goes to the center of this area. Okay, cool. All right. But yeah, basically all you need to do to have a carousel is just basically overflow X, Y, and then set the height and width and stuff. All right, so adding scroll buttons with scroll button. Okay. So now, depending on your operating system, there may already be scroll buttons. Oh, around your scrollers. Really? Okay. Built-in scroll buttons tend to nudge a scroll area while CSS scroll buttons page 85% of the scroll area. Okay. So now for carousels that only show one full width item at a time with scroll snap points, this will feel like an item by item amount. For long lists of items where more than one are in view at a time, like this here, it scrolls almost a full page. Okay. Okay, I can kind of see that. So now note, if you want the buttons to move exactly one item at a time, use scroll snap X mandatory combined with scroll snap always on each snap child, which is kind of like what they did here. But there's no, he didn't add the scroll snap stop always. But if you put the scroll snap stop always, then it would do one at a time, apparently. Okay. Okay. So now to add scroll buttons with CSS, add them like other pseudo elements with a selector. So you have the carousel, which was the thing we had before, right? And then you on top of that put the scroll button right for a button to scroll right. So it just shows up. So you don't have to actually put a button element in your code, in your HTML. Interesting. And then specify content with optional accessible fallback alt text. So if it doesn't show up, wherever the alt text would be. So like right here. Okay. So now the browser will create real buttons with your content inside as siblings to the scroller. You're now free to lay these buttons out, style them, or anchor them as you need. Okay. The following CSS creates two, one for the left scroll button and one for the right scroll button. So we have the carousel, like from before, and now we're adding on to it. This is a whole new thing, like where you can like add on stuff to see, because before you'd have to do something like this, you know what I'm saying, separately. But now you can like nest things now, which is kind of amazing in CSS. Again, it's becoming more and more like a programming language. It's pretty cool. And so now we have so here's the scroll button left, right? So here's the content, and then here's the accessible fallback alt text. That's what's talking about here. Cool. So this is the left one. So that it adds it here. Every time I hover over this but yeah, you can see towards the bottom there, it's the left and the right. That's pretty cool. And then you see it has the scroll button, like selecting all of them. Focus visible is doing the offset outline 5 pixels. So you can kind of see it gets bigger, it looks like, when it's focused. Let's see. Yeah, so you got a little bit bigger there. Yeah, like when you click it. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because like you're pressing the button or something. Uh, maybe the outline, maybe it's getting smaller. I don't know what it is initially, but all right. So now they have this demo here. So it goes to CodePen, which is pretty cool. You can actually try it out in the browser. But again, let me show you what it says when you're not. So you can see it says, hey, this browser does not support scroll button. The demo requires that from Overflow 5, like scroll button. So that's the thing. But from here, let me make this bigger. Hopefully the text was fine. But I know this text is super small. So, and again, I posted a link to it so you can always check it out. But hold on, let me make this text a little bit bigger. So you can see here, we've got the scroll layout, right? Then we have the carousel, like you saw before, the carousel there. And then we have the overflow X auto, scroll snap type X mandatory, over scroll behavior X. Oh, okay, I've never seen that one before. Contain. And then you see here, this allows you, like if the person has reduced motion on, then if they have it on, it will make it regular, like it'll like snap in place. Whereas with this, if they don't have a preference, it'll make it smooth, like the scrolling will be smooth. And then all the things inside of all the different LIs inside of it, you see the scroll snap align center. And then adding the buttons. So here's the same thing. So okay, so yeah, inline size 48. So you can here you can use use regular CSS to style it. And yeah, aspect ratio, so it's a circle, and the border radius, making that color. All right. Okay, cool. All right. Oh, okay. Then the offset. So the inline size 48. Then I guess, yeah, the offset would make it bigger, 5 pixels bigger, maybe. And again, see, no JavaScript, which is kind of interesting. Um, okay, and it's changing the color here as well. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, so yeah, the scale. So yeah, so for all the buttons, whether it be left or right, right, which they have here, left or right, if it's not disabled and active, you scale it down 90%. So like if you're clicking it, it will go down like as if you press the button. Okay. And then when you release it, it'll make it bigger. Okay. And it's using grid to place it in the scroll thing, which is pretty cool. So that means there should be a grid somewhere. It's probably on that scroll layout. Where's scroll layout? Scroll like yeah, scroll layout. We have the display grid. All right. And then here, the template areas, the name template areas. So you have like left, scroll, right, and then you have where the markers show up, which is what they're talking about. So that was the buttons, right? So that gives you this. Let me scroll back to here. Yeah, so that's where we're at. So we have these buttons here. Dope. Let me make this bigger. And I'm over time, of course. All right. Cool. So then we have the scroll markers now, right? And so similar to scroll bar thumb elements, CSS scroll markers can hint to the size of the carousel while providing the affordance to move quickly to the end or beginning. A CSS scroll marker is different from the scroll bar because each marker is a link that can represent any item in the scroller. So whereas, like I have can you see this here? Yeah, you have like the scroll bar here, but it's not like I can click and it'll take me to an actual position, like an actual element. It just takes me to that part of the scroll. So it's not like linked to an actual element. You know what I'm saying? It's just the position of the page or the scroll. And so an example of this distinction, consider the series of a television, seasons of a television TV series. Instead of making a marker for each of the 10 episodes, create 2 markers that go between that go to the beginning of the chapter. All right. So yeah, so instead of having, each individual, like episode 2, episode 3, like that, you just say season 1, season 2, and it'll jump to those parts. All right. So yeah, so notice these markers aren't dots because we saw before they're all dots. They're using content season 1. Okay. Property of their pseudo element. So I guess markers can also be thumbnails, commonly used for gallery carousels in e-commerce. Okay, or photo focused websites. Oh, that's dope. So then, okay, so if we have this here, yeah, so the content, there's nothing there. So I guess that will give you the circles if you don't put anything there. Okay. Yeah, and then you see it's for each scroll, for each list item, the scroll, they each get their own scroll marker. Oh, that's cool. Interesting. So let's take a look at this demo. I want to see this real quick, and then we can, again, it's not going to work, but I just want to see the code. Let's share this tab instead. All right, so yeah, so again, same scroll layout, carousel content with there's an unordered list and all the different list items, and they're all blank, right? Because I think you just have like squares. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, the LIs. Yeah, see the list type none. And this is the border, 3 pixels solid. All right, yeah, cool. So yeah, okay, so we got the carousel. So create markers after the scroller. Okay. So I guess if you put maybe before, it'd probably put it like on the top, whereas with after, it puts it like below it, depending on how you have it. So if it was like if you had it like like going side to side, you wanted to scroll it for some reason on the side, the scroll marker, then you before and after, left or right. But then if you have it like vertical, then top and bottom. Okay, that's cool how they put that. All right, I can see that. And then create markers container and own dots layout. Okay, so markers like we saw before on the grid layout, right? So the marker group is going to go into the grid area markers. But then you have a grid of them. Oh, play it safe. I've never seen this one before. Place content safe. That's interesting. And then the grid is 30 pixels and auto overflow. So, okay, the gap in between is 15. The padding is 15. Scroll padding is 15. Okay. But where do they actually? Okay, here's the scroll marker. And again, it's just empty. So empty content is fine, just like before. Okay. Yeah, and they just and then you're styling it here. So they're just making it like a circle. Okay. Cool. Oh, and it makes it the color of the link text. Okay, interesting. When like you just hover or fork visible. Okay. All right. So yeah, so that I believe gets you back to here. So that gives you this thing there. Pretty dope. And so yeah, so markers and buttons at the same time. So you can put two together and experiences look like a carousel, but have the following benefits. So it works with JavaScript disabled, which is pretty cool. You still can have this really cool experience without the JavaScript loading, and no hydration or lazy sizing. So it reduces the content layout shift because it's just CSS. So it knows because it runs the CSS and the HTML before showing you anything. So the sizing is already there, which is pretty cool. And it also depends on the size of your thing. Whereas with like JavaScript, if you're adding the stuff there, it would be like nothing there. And then once the JavaScript loads it, then it's does the content layout shift, which is kind of annoying sometimes. And accessibility is already included, and it's ready for all kinds of scroll animations and triggers. Nope. And then yeah, so touch, mouse, and keyboard friendly. Like you get that all out the box because it's built into the browser. And so that's pretty dope. So do less, reach more faster. I like that. Very nice. And then you can check out all the different other stuff. Like he built so there's a carousel gallery. Again, I don't think this is going to work, but then also there's a carousel configurator, which is pretty dope. So now let me pull that up. And then we'll end off here. Share this tab. So you can see again, it's not supported. So you would need to, the canary and enable the flags or whatever, right? And but they has all the different examples that were shown in that first video is all like here, and you can check it out. And it's pretty dope. So again, shouts to Adam Argyle. And some of them aren't available yet. Like they're adding more stuff. Like I'm interested in seeing what that unlocker is in the circular lock. That's pretty cool. But here's that like the app switcher. Oh yeah, it's not gonna work because oh wait, here we go. Something. All right, so but the thing is, yeah, I don't have the browser, but you can see this is pretty cool. TV series is one that I showed before. Again, it's not going to show it because I don't have the actual browser to run it. Testimonials, you can do testimonial stuff. It's pretty cool. Gallery, like I mentioned before. I think this one has like the thumbnails, but again, can't see it because I don't have actual thing. Now it'd be cool. Again, I don't know. It'd be cool if these like link to like a code panel where you can see the code as well. That'd be cool to see. But maybe that's coming or something. And then here's like different automatic pages. That's pretty cool. So you can see you can do a lot of cool stuff. But it's just for the fact that it's not there yet, but it's coming. And so just kind of like, hey, this is possible. It's coming soon. So, start thinking about cool stuff and maybe doing like little test projects. And when it's actually ready, just switch it over and you're good to go. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, let me get y'all back to work because I want to get back to work again. Scroll back to the top here. Yeah. Shout out to Adam Argyle. Again, a link to this blog post will be next to the recording of the video on the website untilit.works, so you can check it out there. All right. But yeah, super cool. All right, let me get y'all back to work so I can get back to work. I need to finish up the post radio show promo stuff. So I've not gotten that done yet. So I want to get that done. So when we come back, we'll take a look at an artist's website, listen to some music, watch some videos, maybe you'll become a fan. But till then, I wish you much productivity. We'll be back again like 15 minutes after the hour. Till then, here's some traveling music. Anthony Cruz, aka A Butter. Thank you. All right, y'all be easy. And
I wanna say thank you for holding on when a brother was down and out. Now feel so strong. And I wanna say thank you for being there when the brother had nowhere to turn to. You were there, and I feel like hero. And everybody says hero. We spread love like hero. I wanna say thank you for holding on when a brother was down and out. Now I feel so strong, and I wanna say thank you for being there when a brother had nowhere to turn to. You were